Welcome students to our new YouTube channel Pharma X Tech, the division of excellence. So let's start to the new chapter from pharmacology in central nervous system is general anesthetics. So in the last video lecture we will see the local anesthetics and their classification. So next one is general anesthetics. So let's start to this chapter general anesthetics. The first inhalation anesthetic discovered is nitrous oxide. So in the GPAT there is a question asked. Most important, which is the first inhalational anesthetic discovered, and the right answer is nitrous oxide. So next we see the classification of general anesthetics. In that the first one is inhalational anesthetics. That the first class is volatile liquids and the examples are diethyl ether, chloroform, halothane, influorine, methoxyfluorine, isofluorine, desfluorine and sevofluorine. So all these fluorine are the inhalational anesthetics in volatile liquids and also chloroform, halothane and diethyl ether. So the next inhalational anesthetics class is gases and the examples are nitrous oxide and cyclopropane. And the next class is intravenous anesthetics. The first one is inducing agents and the examples are thiopentone sodium, methohexytone and propofol and etomidate. So the intravenous anesthetics inducing agents are thiopentone sodium, propofol, methohexytone and etomidate. Most important for GPAT and CET examination. So next is slower acting drugs like benzodiazepines like diazepam, lorazepam and midazolam. So next is in dissociative anesthesia, the ketamine is used. The ketamine is also known as phencyclidine. So in GPAT there is a question, which drug used in dissociative anesthesia, and the right answer is ketamine. So next is neuroleptalgia there, and the drug which is used is fentanyl plus droperidol. So next we see the stages of anesthesia. So the first stage is stage of analgesia. In that it extends from beginning of inhalation of anesthetic to loss of consciousness. So the second stage is stage of delirium or excitement. It extends from loss of consciousness to beginning of surgical anesthesia. It occurs due to release of lower centers from inhibitory control of higher centers, and also in pupils, dilated pupils, the stage of delirium is seen. So the third stage is stage of surgical anesthesia, and the plane is in respiration. There is full, regular, deep and thoraco-abdominal respiration, and the cardiovascular system there is blood pressure and pulse normal, and in eyes movements roving, and the size of pupils is normal, and the progressive dilation as the depth increases. So next we see the reflexes. The eyelid reflexes, swallowing, vomiting, pharyngeal reflexes there is lost in the middle of this plane, and also conjunctival reflexes they are lost, and also corneal reflexes are present in surgical anesthesia. So the plan 2, the respiration there is regular, amplitude decreased. So the respiration rated and breath holding in response to incision is abolished, and the eyes are fixed, and the reflexes of laryngeal reflexes are abolished. That means endotracheal intubation done, and the skeletal muscle relaxation is complete in plane 2. So next we see the plan 3, the respiration, the beginning of asynchrony between thoracic and abdominal movements, and in the cardiovascular system blood pressure begins to fall. So there is fall in blood pressure in CVS in plan 3, and also reflexes lost, and papillary light reflexes are corneal reflexes, and in plane 4 there is low blood pressure, pupils dilated and do not respond to light, and the muscles are flaccid paralysis of intercostal muscles are completed. So next stage is stage of respiratory paralysis. In that, the dilated pupils reacting to light seen in stage 2. So the dilated pupils not reacting to light seen in stage 2, plan stage 3, plan 3, plan 4 and also stage 4. So these dilated pupils not reacting to light which is seen in stage 3, plan 4 and stage 4. And the most reliable indication for achieving stage 3 is surgical anesthesia. So in GPAT there is a question which is most reliable indication for achieving stage 3, and the right answer is surgical anesthesia. And there is loss of eyelashes, lid reflexes, and also the rhythmic respiration. There is regular in rate and in depth. So next we see the nitrous oxide. The nitrous oxide, it is the most widely used in anesthesia and it is the least potent. That means less than 100% inhaled anesthesia and cannot produce surgical anesthesia by itself, and it is an anesthetic with good analgesic property. So this nitric oxide has anesthetic with good analgesic property, and this is also called as laughing gas. So in JPAT the question is asked, which anesthetics drug is called as laughing gas? The answer is nitrous oxide. And also the reverse question is asked, the nitrous oxide is commonly called as, and the answer is laughing gas. So next one is adverse effects, and the adverse effect of nitrous oxides are hypoxia, methemoglobinemia, megaloblastic anemia, respiratory depression, bone marrow depression, and cardiac irregularities. So these cardiac irregularities, bone marrow depression, methemoglobinemia, megaloblastic anemia, hypoxia, and respiratory depressions are the adverse effects of nitrous oxide. So next we see the treatment of methemoglobinemia. So the treatment of methemoglobinemia, there is 4-methylene blue and oxygen is used, and also the ascorbic acid is used in the treatment of methemoglobinemia. So next we see the diethyl ether. This diethyl ether is an inflammable agent, so it cannot be used with diathermy. And this diethyl ether, it is marketed in amber colored bottles covered with black paper, that means forms peroxides and acetic aldehyde when exposed to air and moisture or light. And the guidal stage of anesthesia was given for ether, and the concentration of ether in inspired air required for induction of anesthesia is 10 to 15%, and the concentration of ether in inspired air required for maintenance of surgical anesthesia is 4 to 5%, and the concentration of ether in inspired air required for maintenance of analgesic stage is 1.2%. Next we see the advantages of diethyl ether. It does not sensitize the myocardium to catecholamines, and it causes good muscle relaxation. Relaxation is curative and non-depolarizing. And the disadvantages of diethyl ether is it is slowest induction, that means ether slow induction. Second one is ether conversions treated by thiopenton, artificial respiration and cooling, and also it crossed the placenta. So this is the disadvantages of diethyl ether. The main is the diethyl ether crossed by the placenta. So next we see the contraindications of diethyl ether. In first, diathermy, as it is inflammable, and also in diabetes mellitus, as it releases the catecholamines and produce hyperglycemia. Ether, diathermy, diabetes. So these contraindications, that means drug, this diethyl ether is not used in this case. So known as contraindications. So next we see the halothane. So halothane, it is a halogenated anesthetic. So halothane is namely halo means halogenated. That means like you see the halogen gas. So this type of this halothane is halogenated anesthetic, and it is first used for anesthetic purpose by Johnston. So this halothane was first anesthetic proposed by Johnston and used. So the next is the halothane is also volatile oil, that means volatile liquid, and the halothane, it is not an inflammable agent, and diethyl is inflammable agent. So there is a difference. So and halothane is not inflammable agent, and the boiling point of halothane is 50 degrees Celsius. So the halothane is boils at 50 degrees Celsius. So the next one is concentration of halothane in inspired air required for induction of anesthesia is 2.3%. So next we see the concentration of halothane in inspired air required for maintenance of anesthesia is 1 to 2%. And this halothane, it is a potent anesthetic but a poor analgesic. So the question asks which is poor analgesics, and the right answer is halothane. So next we see the uses of halothane in anesthetic of choice in bronchial asthma patients, as it causes bronchodilation. So this halothane is a drug of choice in bronchial asthma patients. And the next is anesthetic of choice for hypotensive anesthesia, that means bloodless field. So also this halothane is the drug of choice in hypotensive anesthesia, and also it is used for internal versions, that as it causes relaxation of uterus. So next we see the disadvantages of halothane. So every drug has advantages and some disadvantages. So the disadvantages of halothane are it relaxes uterus, so avoided in pregnancy, shakes and post anesthetics chill are found, and also it dissolves rubber, and also the hepatotoxicity, that means halothane hepatotoxic, that means halothane is hepatotoxic, and its disadvantage is hepatotoxicity. And the hepatotoxic anesthetics inhaled agents, examples are chloroform, halothane and fluoroxine, that means fluoroxine. So next we see the thiopenton. So this thiopenton, it is an ultra short acting barbiturate. So this thiopenton is ultra short acting barbiturate. The INGPAT question is asked which is ultra short acting barbiturate, and the answer is thiopenton. And this thiopenton, it is the most commonly used ultra short acting barbiturate for induction of anesthesia, and its action is diminished because of rapid redistribution into muscles and fat, and it is metabolized in liver by cytochrome P450. So in GPAD also question asked for this thiopenton which thiopenton is metabolized in liver by which enzyme, and the right answer is enzyme cytochrome P450, and the strength of the solution used is 2 to 5%, and the pH of the solution used is 10.4. So next we see the uses of thiopenton. The thiopental is a much more desirable drug for use in patients with raised intracranial pressure, as it decreases intracranial tension. So next we see the disadvantages of thiopenton. So it depresses the cardiovascular system, that means CVS and respiration, and it is poor analgesics. And the contraindication of thiopenton is in hepatic adrenal damage, and in shock, bronchial asthma, and in acute intermittent porphyria. So this in these cases the thiopenton is avoided. So the next we see the dose of thiopenton. The 5 milligram per kg body weight, that means 5 mg per kg body weight for induction and intra-arterial injection causes thrombosis the first symptom is pain and is treated by the leaving in the needle in situ, immediate heparinization and stellate ganglion block. So the next is surgical removal clot. That means surgical removal of clot. These anesthetic agents contraindicated in acute intermittent porphyria and bronchial asthma, thiopentone. This is barbiturates. So next we see the ketamine. So it causes dissociated anesthesia. So the Ingipad, which drug causes dissociated anesthesia, and the right answer is ketamine. And also amnesia, analgesia, and it is the drug of choice for shock anesthesia. So the ketamine is drug of choice for shock anesthesia. And also in dose, the intravenous dose is 1 to 2 mg per kg body weight, and intramuscular dose is 5 to 10 mg per kg body weight. So next we see the duration of action. The duration of action of ketamine is the analgesic action 40 minutes and anesthetic action is 15 minutes. So next we see the adverse effects of ketamine. It increases in all pressures, that means in intracranial, not used in patients with cerebrovascular accidents, and in also in intraocular pressure and in also blood pressure, and also it increased muscle tone and also in post operative myalgia and also in myoglobinemia and in hallucinations, and the emergence phenomenon is hallucinations and is treated by benzodiazepines like diazepam. So this emergency in hallucinations in case, so this hallucination is treated by diazepam. So the drug of choice for emergency in hallucination is diazepam. So next is anesthetic agent causing myoglobinemia is ketamine, and the next is skeletal muscle relaxant causing myoglobinemia is succinylcholine. So this is most important for GPAT is which anesthetic agent causing myoglobinemia is ketamine, and also the skeletal muscle relaxant causing myoglobinemia is succinylcholine. So next we see the chloroform. So it was discovered by James Simpson and it is not used nowadays. So this chloroform is not used nowadays. So next we see the adverse effects of chloroform. The adverse effects are cardiotoxicity, hepatotoxicity and diabetogenic property. So these are the adverse effects of chloroform like cardiotoxicity, hepatotoxicity and diabetogenic properties. So next we see the influrane. The influrane, it is a halogenated anesthetic and this is anesthetic agent of choice in pheochromocytoma. So this influrane is a drug of choice in pheochromocytoma, that means in eyes. And the adverse effects, major adverse effect of this influrane is nephrotoxicity. So in GPAT, which is the major adverse effect of influrane, and the correct answer is nephrotoxicity. So next we see the methoxyflurane. So this methoxyflurane, it is a halogenated anesthetic and it has highest amount of fluoride content and it is the most potent inhalational anesthetics, that means volatile liquid of 0.16% and its boiling point is 150 degrees Celsius, higher than boiling point of H2O. And the adverse effects of methoxyflurane is nephrotoxicity, causes vasopressin resistant polyuric renal insufficiency, and also the second adverse effect is oxalate renal stone formation, and this drug methoxyflurane is not used nowadays. So next is neuroleptalgia. This is characterized by intense analgesia without loss of consciousness, and the drug combination is used is fentanyl 1 part plus droperidol 50 parts. Is droperidol is opioid analgesics and also neuroleptics, and the fentanyl is 100 times more potent than morphine. The morphine is also opioid analgesic and its actions last for about 30 minutes, and droperidol's action last about 2 to 3 hours. And this drug, and next we see the uses, and it is suitable for angiography, bronchoscopy, myelography, and old people and poor risk causes. So next one is cyclopropane. It is most potent anesthetic gas used, and the boiling point is 33 degrees Celsius, and this cyclopropane is not used nowadays, and the color of cylinder is orange. That means cyclopropane is orange. It increases blood pressure by increasing sympathetic tone. So the next one is inflammable anesthetics. So the examples of inflammable anesthetics are ether, ethyl chloride, ethylene, and cyclopropane. The general anesthetic with poor muscle relaxant property is nitrous oxide, and the general anesthetic with very good muscle relaxant property is ether, and the safest anesthetic in unexperienced hands is ether, and the most commonly used gas anesthetic is nitrous oxide. So in the stage 1 of anesthesia is due to decreases in activity of cells of substantia gelatinosa in dorsal horn of spinal cord, that means cells most sensitive to general anesthetics, and the anesthetics agents which sensitize the myocardium to catecholamines, so adrenaline is not used, and the agent used is methoxyflurane, chloroform, and halothane. Next we see the anesthetic agents which causes the release of catecholamines, and the agents are ether and cyclopropane. So the next one is anesthetic agents causing myoclonia is etomidate, and the anesthetic agents causing hypotension are halothane, influrane, and isoflurane. So this is most important, which anesthetics causing agent causing hypotensions, and these agents are halothane, influrane, and isoflurane. And also the most important question asked in GPAT, which anesthetic agent which causes release of catecholamines, and the correct answer is ether and cyclopropane. And the next last one is specific benzodiazepine receptor antagonist is flumazenil, and the anesthetic agent with least effect on myocardial contractility is trilene. So last most important is specific benzodiazepine receptor antagonist is flumazenil, and anesthetic agent with least effect on myocardial contractility is trilene. So in this general anesthetics there are various terms, and the uses of drugs are most important. So we have, and also the classification, and also the uses, advantages, adverse effects, and advantages and its uses, and their examples are also important in this general anesthetics. So please go through this topic 2 to 3 times, because this is most important topic after local anesthetics. So those local anesthetics and general anesthetics are most questions probably asked in GPAT. So go thoroughly and by heartily this topic. So you can prepare this topic from our video. So I think you understand all this anesthetics, local anesthetics and general anesthetics. So hope you like this video. If you like this video, please comment, and if you don't understand this video, please WhatsApp us, and also in comment ask your doubts, so we can answer you. So thanks for watching this video, and also like, share and subscribe to our channel, and share this video more and more to your GPAT aspirants as well as CET aspirants. So thanks for watching. Stay updated and stay connected with Pharma X-Tech YouTube channel, because this is rank number 1. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Thank you. Welcome students to our new YouTube channel Pharma X-Tech, the division of excellence. So let's start to the new chapter from pharmacology in central nervous system is general anesthetics. So in the last video lecture we will see the local anesthetics and their classification. So next one is general anesthetics. So let's start to this chapter, general anesthetics. The first inhalation anesthetic discovered